live.
All right, I think we're live. So
Yes.
hopefully this is going to go smoothly. Those of you, some of you viewers tuned in yesterday, but we were having some technical difficulties. And then our guest speaker today had to also catch a flight. So today is going to hopefully be smooth.
Yes.
But welcome, everyone. Hopefully, you're either watching this live or perhaps you'll catch this on replay. But welcome to the first Path to Greatness episode, where we seek to inspire your greatness by shining a light on and celebrating someone who is already doing amazing things. I'm Dr. Amy Holda Weinstein, as many of you already know. I'm a Senegalese American physician, a writer, a speaker, a healer, a coach. Depends who you ask, and medical director of the Visionary Women's Health Center, and your host for this
Yes.
inspirational series. So today's episode is a very, very special one. And it's a perfect way, I think, to kickstart this series. And I hope we have many, many more to come. We have with us Mrs. Khadija Jibril Nyai Wooden.
hmm
Um, and she is a Senegalese female pilot and the first Senegalese woman to ever fly a commercial jet in the United States, which is amazing. If
Thank you.
you didn't know this already, for your listeners, less than 1% of the US population holds a private pilot certificate. And so they're definitely, of course, among the elite groups of individuals in this country. But in that group, less than 1% of that group are Black females. So it's truly amazing and such an honor to have you here to talk with us and to inspire our listeners and our viewers. I'm super, super excited. So, let's dive into what it takes to beat the odds. So,
Yes.
welcome, welcome,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank
And if
you
you,
for having me. I'm very honored to be here.
you're very welcome. It's such so my pleasure, and I'm sure everyone listening is also super excited to watch this. But we're just going to start by tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Who am I? Well, I guess Hadi Jibril Jai. I was born and raised in Dakar, a little girl from Dakar, Senegal, with big dreams. I would say a dream that many thought was never going to be reality, and I'm just happy and blessed that I'm living that right now. And I hope that most people will also believe in whatever dream they have as a young girl. Because to me, it was a dream, but I worked to make it my reality.
Mm.
And born and raised in Senegal, I did all my curriculum in Senegal until I got my high school diploma in Dakar. And after that, I started doing research to see how I can make this dream a reality. And that's what led me to the United States because, one, I needed to know how to speak English in order to be in aviation, and the US was a better fit for me. Two, the US had way more opportunity and way more schools that offered an aviation has a college degree.
Mm.
And that's how I ended up here. When I came in the United States, I had to learn how to speak English, knowing that English wasn't my first language. Doing that, then integrated college, and I had my degree in aviation, then a master in business. Then started working in the aviation industry and worked my way up to where I am today. With all the challenges and everything else, helped me really get to where I am and made me the person I am today.
Yeah, very nice. So what sort of sparked the desire to follow a dream that everyone around you said that's not going to happen? What Tell us
It's
that story.
it's really funny. I always tell people I have no idea how I got to like airplanes. And I know me and my mom we always talk about it, and even my mom she always say that it just had to have been my destiny
Uh-huh.
because we just don't know. As a kid, I didn't know any pilots. I have never seen a pilot that was in my family or anybody. The first pilot I ever met probably was on the in the airplane coming to the United States, and
Wow.
it just became something because we didn't live far from the airport. I used to see airplanes come and go all the time, and I used to always be in my chair. I was a very quiet kid, and I was very involved in a lot of activities. I played basketball, I did track and field, and I was very studious. I did Jenny Arnab, and I was always busy doing something. So every time I was home, my mom used to not let us go out. We always stayed in the house. So my escape, and everybody was older than me. My escape was to always read. I used to love to read, so I would go to Librairie Française, and I had a cousin who I had a car there. I would get books, and I would just sit in the terrace and read or do homeworks and everything. And when I was doing that, I used to always see airplanes come and go. And in Senegal, nobody talks to you about what do you want to do when you grow up. It's always just go to school and you'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
And I would just look at airplanes and I'm like, wouldn't it be amazing if one day I could just like fly like them, just be free like them, or
Oh,
things like that. And it just kind of stuck with me. And I keep saying, yeah, whenever I talk, I was like, man, I want to be a pilot when I grow up. And people are like, oh, you can be a flight attendant, you can do this. I'm like, no, I want to be a pilot. And they were like, oh, you really good in math and science, maybe you can be a doctor or something. And I'm like, okay, but in my mind I knew that's what I wanted to do. And that's
mm,
all I ever talked about, and that's all I never knew. Everybody who knew me, my parents, everybody knew that's what I wanted to do. But I cannot say that I got inspired by somebody. It's not like I watched airplane movies or anything. It's just that I saw them when I was in my quiet time, and I
yeah,
did that a lot. So it was just a desire I had, and maybe it was just meant to be. Who knows?
absolutely. I think
Yeah.
most people that I talk to that walk into their destiny, it's just they just have an internal a moment where a
Yes.
vision comes internally
Yeah.
and then nothing can stop them.
Mm-mm.
What is your advice to people who may have either this, maybe this is their dream, maybe they want to become a pilot, or maybe they have another dream, but everyone around them doesn't think that that's possible? What's your advice?
My advice, and I say this to everybody I speak to, is the only person that need to believe in your dream is you. Like it, that nobody else, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that's gonna walk the path to get to where you want to go. So as long as you believe in it, it is possible. Like
Mhm.
nobody can stop you. I can wake up every day and say I'm the strongest person in the world. Is it true? Probably not, but to myself it is true. So I can do whatever I can do, and every time I look at myself, I'm just like, what's next? So I'm not trying to do what somebody else want me to do. I'm not trying to be somebody else. I'm just trying to be what I think I can be. And
Mhm.
to me, that's the strongest motivation ever. It's like
Mhm.
the only person that's stopping between you and where you can be is yourself.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow, that's powerful.
Hmm.
For those listeners who want to follow the same path and want to become a pilot, can you give us a sense of what that path looks like?
Yes, it's like we know. I know you're in the industry where it's not a lot of women, it's not a lot of black people. It's hard, but everything that's hard is doable. And if somebody else can do it, why not you?
Yeah.
And I'll say, if you believe in yourself, that's where it really starts with. And you believe in yourself, you have goal, you know the path is gonna be hard, you expect it, and you do everything you can to make it happen. There's days you're
Mhm.
gonna wanna quit, there's days you wanna. I just got off the phone with one of my mentees because I told her I had to go on this Zoom because she's in training and very frustrated, and she was crying on the phone with me, and I told her, if you do your pilot training until you're done and you never cry, you probably didn't do it right. So you're gonna be frustrated. It's gonna be hard, and days you're gonna wanna quit. You don't feel like you belong, but that's what's gonna make the journey rewarding at the end. Just
Yeah.
believe in it. Keep pushing. Seek mentorship. Seek
Mhm.
a village, because it's gonna take a village to get you through emotionally and
Yeah.
mentally. Yeah.
And is it so you have to get your bachelor's degree
Yes,
and kind of
you have to get your. You don't have to nowadays. The major airline used to require that you have to have a degree, but now most people have dropped it because we have a really bad shortage.
oh,
And you don't have to get a bachelor degree. You can go through a normal flight school, like a mom and pop at the airport. Most cities have small airport that most people don't know about. So you
oh,
go to those airports, and they might have flight school. You can do it that way, or you can go to college if you're in a college year, because it's best to have a college degree. It's definitely going to make you marketable. You
okay.
get a college degree. In college, they will teach you the curriculum. Everybody follows the Federal Aviation Administration curriculum. So no matter if you go to a flight school or to a regular college, they're going to follow the same curriculum, because your certificate are not given by the school. It's given by the Federal Aviation. When you do your test, you do it with the designated pilot examiner, who works for the FAA. And
Okay.
you do that, you get through your private pilot license. Then you get your instrument license. Private pilot license just means you can fly on your own.
Okay.
You can carry your friend or your family. You cannot get paid to do it.
Okay.
Then you get instrument, meaning you can now fly into the clouds. You don't have to see something. As a private pilot, all you can do, you have to see to go. And
Okay.
it has to be a clear day, a nice day, whatnot. An instrument, you can fly into the clouds. Then
Okay.
once you get that rating, now you work towards your commercial pilot license. The commercial pilot certificate allows you to actually get a job in aviation so that you can start getting paid. And once you get that, in order to go to the airline, you have to build so many flight hours.
Okay.
Most people do it when you get to your commercial. That's when the road kind of change. Everybody now have a path to get to airline transport pilot certificate. To build the hours, you can either become a flight instructor, which is I think the easiest way. You
Okay.
teach people how to fly so you can also build your time,
Okay.
or you can find a company that's hiring low time pilots to just do maybe surveying the oil companies. You need pilot to fly small airplane to survey their I don't know what they check and take pictures and stuff in their field that they have. Or you can do uh, general aviation flying, like the private jet. Some of the private jet don't require a lot of hours to fly, and some other type of aviation job. The police sometimes needs pilots and things like that. Once
Okay.
you build your hours till you get to 1,500 hours, now you can get your airline transport pilot certificate. And that you can go work for the airlines. Usually you start with the regional or the low cost carriers like Spirit or Frontiers, JetBlue. Then once that is done, you can move on to the major airlines like United, Delta, American, Southwest. And I think JetBlue now considers themselves as a major airline.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And how many years is that? How many years are we talking?
Well,
Without.
if you take the college route, we'll say at least 3 to 4 years. If you
Okay.
take the non-traditional route, it really depends how deep your pockets are.
Okay.
Because you have to, if you have the money, you can fly every day. If you don't
Okay.
have the money, you have to pay as you go. So
Mm,
some people might do it in 2 years to get just the certificates. Other people might do it 4 years. Then
mhm,
to build the hours, it also depends what kind of job you have, how often they fly you, and how often
mhm,
you fly. So the
mhm.
timeline can be longer or shorter depending on the route you decide to take or how financially able you are.
Okay.
Yeah, but on average, it's about 3 to 4 years you can make it to the regional airlines. The major airline, that also depends how well you do, how well your resume looks, and what kind of experience and background you have.
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So I imagine as you're going through this process that you probably ran into some challenges, just not only being a woman, but also being a Black woman. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if maybe the fact that you're a Senegalese Black woman played into that, but can you talk to us a little bit about whether that was a challenge at all, in what way, and how you navigated through that?
Yeah, first of all, I'll say not speaking English and having an accent is always a challenge because, you know, people might embrace it, but some people might not.
Mm,
And I always kind of felt like I always say my college year were my best years, but also not my best years.
okay.
Best year because I met my really good friends, and none of the people I was with was in aviation because when I was in college, I kind of felt like I didn't fit in with the aviation group
Mm,
because one, I was the only black woman there, and two, it's like our interests were not the same. I came from Senegal, and my focus was study, and that's what I always have done back home. And here, people just want to have, they have their little clique, they study together, they do stuff together. Even when you do projects with them, you kind of feel like you the last person in the group because nobody is choosing you, right? And you feel like when you go to do the project with them, they talk among themselves and you don't feel included. But those things make it very hard, and you have nobody to relate to, you have nobody to talk to. And when your family doesn't understand what's going on, like my parents don't know nothing about aviation, my family don't know, and I don't know any Senegalese person that I can talk to that know. So those can, make life very, very challenging. And like that's why I mentor a lot of people, because I feel like you really need somebody to have your back. You really need somebody to just hold you and say it's okay, you're gonna get through this.
mhm,
And those were very challenging. And
mhm.
just in the work environment, I always feel like, I don't know how it feels in your field. I feel like when you show up, you always have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
It's
That.
like every day with a new crew member is like a new interview. like
Yeah.
where you come from,
Right.
how did you get here, what's your aviation background, what's this, what's
Mhm.
that, did you have issues in training, did you have issues doing this, and I'm like, am I supposed to have issues? Am I supposed to,
Yeah.
suck? I'm sorry
Hmm.
for the word. Like, am I supposed to
Yeah.
not be good? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And it makes me, sometimes I question it in the back of my mind. I'm like, do they ask this question to everybody? You don't want to be that
Or
person
not.
that think it's personal, but
Yeah.
you can't help it. And, my husband being in the industry, I always ask him, I was like, do people ask you this question? Sometimes he's like, I would never ask that to my first officer because he's an instructor. He is a check pilot at his company.
Okay.
I was like, do you ask this to your student? He's like, no, I would never ask that to myself. I was like, man, this is what this person asked me today. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I guess
Yeah.
you don't think that I know my job. I mean,
Hmm.
I went through the same training you did. They did not tailor it to me. They
Right.
did not make a curriculum for me. And
Right.
when I was testing, I got tested by the same people that tested you using the same standard that you went through. So I don't know why you feel the need that
Yeah.
maybe I had issues or something. But
Yeah.
it's just like always proving yourself,
Yeah.
always a interview. Like I'm like, oh, where you come from? What did you do before this? Sometimes it's just to get to know you, but sometimes it's really like sizing you up to see
Yeah.
kind of who are you? Like why are you here?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I think it's the exact same thing in medicine from the get-go. I think from training days, it's always been I had to give 200%
Yep,
and outperform just to be accepted. If I
exactly,
was average, then I wasn't good enough. But
exactly.
the way that I looked at it was I'm going to become a better doctor than
Yep,
those who don't have that expectation. And so that helped me
amen.
get through.
Exactly.
So I don't know what's your what how do you manage the day-to-day microaggression of people questioning your qualifications?
Yeah, just like you say, it's like you always have to be 200% better. I always tell my husband, I'm really hard on myself because I cannot afford to have a bad day.
Hmm.
Because everybody can have a bad day and they just brush it off. It's a bad day. When I have a bad day, it's like, oh, she don't know what she's doing. you
Yeah.
know i
Yeah.
can't i can't afford to have a bad day. So every time I'm always in the books, I'm always making sure I know my stuff, I'm always double checking my job, I'm always
Hmm.
being really careful.
Hmm.
And make sure if I have to be in New York at 2 p.m., I try to be in New York at 9 a.m. because
Yeah.
I don't want to be late. It's like if you
Hmm.
late and I walk in there, I was like, oh, she's late. Guess what they think? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
you know.
Yep.
So it's like I always have to look good. When I put my uniform, I look around. I was like, make sure there's no stand, there's nothing. Look
Yeah.
presentable, be professional, be on time, do
Hmm.
everything above and beyond. If whatever the standard, it's whatever it says in the book. I have to go above and beyond. And when I show up, if you ask me a question, I have to be ready to answer. So sometimes I find people that ask something, it's like, and I just say, oh my God, a lot of people don't get that. Like,
Yeah.
XYZ. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I am not a lot of people. I am the few, you
Right.
know.
You're the 1% of the 1%.
Exactly.
So
So it's like you can't afford. I guess, and it helps me be a better pilot. And yes,
absolutely.
it always end up in compliments and stuff. And even sometimes when people compliment me, I kind of take it the wrong way because I'm like, oh, it's like you didn't expect me to be good, you
Yeah.
know. Oh,
Yeah.
you are, you did this. Oh, you are very sharp. You are this and that.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, because you
Yeah.
didn't expect that, so
Yeah.
now you are kind of shocked that I
Mhm.
actually know how to do my job, like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying, though, is so important for anyone, especially the youth that are listening. I think being just a Black person in general, especially in the United States, trying to do great things,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to get worn down.
Mm-hmm.
But if you change your perspective and look at it as an opportunity for
Yep.
greatness,
Mm-hmm.
to truly excel, then it doesn't feel, it's still dragging and it's still annoying.
Yes.
I still have days where I'm like, that was so rude.
Yeah. Yes.
But it just feels, it gives you the fuel, I think, to make it through.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it does. And motivation, it's like whatever you say, I know you're gonna remember me, not for the bad thing, but you're gonna remember me for how well I shocked
Hmm.
you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned your husband, and he's also a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And is he is he Senegalese?
No.
Okay.
He's American. Yeah.
He's white American, black American,
Black American.
black American. Okay,
Yeah.
so he probably has some of the issues, but not all of the same.
Mm-mm.
And do you have children?
No.
No kids. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask like how you manage with family or anything like that, but we'll skip that. You do look very young. So,
Oh, thank you.
um, what keeps you going every single day at this point in your career?
Well, I every time I think about how far I have come, it's just more motivation to keep going because I always say I'm living the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I get up, it's like I'm living in my dream, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that this is a passion
Mm-hmm.
and something that I always longed for, and it is my reality. It's
Mm-hmm.
motivating to go to work. It's a happy day every time I have to go to work, and I always wanna prove to people that this is something you can do. I'm not just becoming a pilot for me. I'm becoming a pilot for all the other people behind me that's looking up. No, just to show them,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I manage. I can do it. You can also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. That's amazing. Would you say so? I feel like all visionaries that I speak to have like a sense of purpose, or what they define as their purpose. What would you say is your purpose?
My purpose is, I know this might sound weird, right? My purpose is to shock people. It's
Okay.
like I always do what is not expected. Like
Okay.
I want to break barriers. I came from Senegal. It's like there's so many things that they don't think women can do. This
Yeah.
is beyond being here in America. Yes, I'm doing it in America. I cannot just tell Senegalese people you can do this. The opportunities have to be there for them to do it. But I
Hmm.
just feel like I don't like being put in a bubble.
Yeah.
And my purpose in life is to always be, always shock whoever it is. Whatever you're expecting from me, I'm gonna come out with something better.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be in a bubble, and
Yeah.
I always fight to be outside of a bubble.
Very nice. That is actually one of the core definitions of being a visionary is you don't like you. It's not that you don't follow rules, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
like boxes, and
Yes.
you're always asking why not. You're always
Exactly.
trying to find a different way to do things.
Yeah.
So that's amazing, and I definitely the fact that you mentor other people that want to follow your path is so important.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are listening who want to be mentored by you, is there a way that they could reach out to you?
Yes, they can always. I go to my Facebook and my Instagram to always check messages that I get. I answer to the one that I know,
Okay.
is important. And
Okay.
every now and then I get messages from like that. And once we connect, and I will exchange numbers so we can take it outside of social media.
Okay.
But I guess that's the best way. If you don't have my number, that's the best way to really reach out to me. And from there, we'll take it out of social media and just talk on a regular basis.
Perfect. Okay. So message you either through Facebook or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the African Success Incubator group. So people from this group can access you there. If not, I'm
Yeah.
going to put your Facebook profile in the
Mm-hmm.
comments as well for other groups.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're coming up on our final time. So I just want to allow you to share maybe any advice that you have for, I would just say for Black people everywhere, for how to find their own greatness and ignite their own purpose.
Yeah, my advice is find something that you really like and do it. Like, don't conform to everyday reality. Don't do something because somebody else is doing it. Do something because you really want to do it, and something you can see yourself doing for a long time. And once you find what you like, go hard, go big, and do your best. Like, be the best you can be. And only really, the only standard I say is I set standard for myself, and I try to go for them. And after I reach every standard, I set a higher one. It's like my goals really drive me, and my goals get me where I am. I reach out to people. I seek things from people, but I don't try to be those people. I try to always have my own identity, try to make myself better every day. And I think once people will recognize, once you keep making yourself better, believing in yourself, pushing yourself hard, doesn't matter how much they don't want you there, doesn't matter how hard it is. Eventually, somebody will recognize what you're doing. Somebody will appreciate your efforts and give you the opportunities that you want to, that will help you get through. So just believe in yourself, keep pushing, and keep reaching for higher goals, and everything will be fine.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. I wish you, may God increase your light and give you more and more success so that you
Thank
can
you.
continue to inspire more and more people. I do think that you're definitely one of the visionaries of this world.
Thank
Just with
you.
everything that you're saying, it's just so it's unbelievable how much the parallels are there. But yeah, your energy also is amazing.
Thank
So
you.
God bless you and your purpose.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you.
All right. So I don't see any questions here, but if anyone watches this later and you have a question for Khadi, go ahead and put it in the comments. I'm sure she would be happy to answer it.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Khadi, for your
Thank
time.
you so much for listening to me and giving me a platform to speak. And if I said something that's offensive to anybody, please forgive me. I'm just being myself. And
So you're
I
perfect.
hope that I inspire somebody to at least do something, whatever it is in life that they want to do. I hope that they get to do it, and I hope that they can inspire other people to also follow through.
Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
evening.
You
Bye.
too.